With the Advantex subfloor assembly, you can be sure that you're building a reputation on something stronger. And the best builders, well, they may always stand apart, but they never stand alone. So ask yourself, are you bringing your A game?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Before the Build series. Today we're going to embark on a subset of a series of videos, and we're going to start talking about that cantilevered deck. It's one of the highlights of the project, and absolutely love it. I guess you could say it completes the project, and there's an awful lot of thinking and detailing that went into that, and the construction of it and the execution of fabricating it and installing it. Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of collaborative effort, all involved in that. So anyways, I'm a good friend Big Red. Got some details here. Let's start talking about that cantilever deck. All right, everybody. So here is the side elevation of the deck. I thought we'd use this one to break out some of the thoughts behind that deck. So as you can see here is that board formed concrete pier. We talked about those in an earlier video. If you haven't watched it, go back, check it out. A bunch of reinforcing in there, a bunch of stirrups in there, and then those 4 bolts per pier, 2 piers, legend of 8 bolts, as my buddy Mark Willie would call it. So we have that. We have this post here. You can see that's an 8x8, 1/4 inch thick, and look at, we sloped the top. Give you a second to think about why. Well, we don't want any water sitting up there. We don't want any flat surfaces that can corrode or become durability liabilities. So we slope that. And it's only a 1/2 inch over 8 inches. So it's not a lot, but it's enough to move water off the top of it and have it fall off. Remember, the house is framed in here, basically right down there. We have our sheathing on there, so there's the gap here is probably something like about 1 inch plus. So, but the deck is totally, it's a cantilever, but it's also fully thermally broken. And what does thermally broken mean? It means that there is no physical connection to the house. Now, I guess you could argue there's this kind of thermal connection, but it's a little bit of a stretch for me. But the deck here is not a cantilever deck that comes out. It's totally self-supportive. And like I said, these 2 large 8x8 posts anchor it to the concrete. And then as a bridge, we have this 4x12 that runs in between the posts. So it's built basically like a goal post, and then we have these angles come out to here, and then they taper. And remember from our very first video, if you haven't seen it, right, we wanted to have that taper up here down next to nothing, and here we have 4 inches because it matches our roof taper here up above us to give us that kind of building disintegrating into the air off into the view, right? And then we have basically a piece of plate steel, 3/8 inch plate steel, that as at the end, and that emphasizes the taper. So that comes all the way back, and that has the tapered look. So that's basically what your eye is following. The angles in back, they start out at 7 inches and run flat, and then they go into the taper when the taper is less than the 7 inches. And then we have a series of these brackets here. They're knife-like, and some minimal connections there, and there. Here, that goes back to the big frame. And then we have a tube frame here, and then it has a series of stainless steel rods that actually make up the balusters. And then, of course, that is complete with a piece of wood on the top there, piece of wood on the top there. We have our frame that goes around here. Those are all equally spaced. We have our rods here, and we'll get into that railing in detail in these drawings, but I just wanted to give you the quick overview. So, yes, there is nothing under here. So, it is only supported 8 bolts, 2 columns, 1 giant tube, goes to a bunch of 7-inch, 24-inch on center steel angles that basically fly out into the air. They go out about 8'2". We have about another foot back here, so the deck is roughly about 9 foot in depth. So, and it's I don't know, it's probably 9 foot by about 16 foot in width. So, very sizable deck, and it completes the view. So, hey, stay tuned. Get a nice little slideshow here. Took some photos during construction, and we'll share those up with you. Enjoy.